Yo, what's good everybody? It's the man, the myth, the legend, Beearseno, don't forget to say the B. Coming at you with another quick little video update. Okay, it was never my intention to start doing game commentaries this early in my channel's life, but Zelda just came out Friday, so being that I'm a longtime Zelda fan, I gotta get this done. So this is only going to be a first impressions. I'm not going to do a full review until I beat the game. And any content that I borrowed from other YouTubers, any other sources, will be credited in the description below. And now, on to my Zelda Breath of the Wild first impressions. So in 1985, the Nintendo Entertainment System came out. And that Christmas, everyone in my neighborhood got one. Except for us. We got ours about 6 months later, and we got it with this shit right here. So yes people, my very first game at 7 years old was The Legend of Zelda, and this would shape who I become as a gamer. I've actually beat every game in the storyline except for Skyward Sword and A Link Between Worlds. Now I plan to get on Skyward Sword, but I'm just not feeling it on the Wii U. I'll wait for it to get on the Switch before I play it. But enough about that. Let's get back to the original here. At the time, I felt that this was probably the hardest game, of the 80s. It took me and my brother probably a year to complete it. And we didn't even do second quest, just first quest. And then this shit came out. Link's Adventure, the direct sequel to the original. And this shit right here, top 3 hardest games of all time on my mama. Real talk, I had to put this shit down. The Super Nintendo came out, A Link to the Past came out, I beat A Link to the Past, and then I had to come back and replay it. But eventually I did beat it. But now it's a cakewalk. I do play it maybe once or twice a year just for reminiscent purposes, and maybe I'll stream it one day, who knows. Now don't let me forget the 4 that came out on handhelds: Link's Awakening, Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages, and Minish Cap. These are officially part of the storyline, but I consider them side stories. I did play them and beat them for the record. So now let's fast forward to 1998 and we have our first Zelda game in 3D. The Ocarina of Time. This game is my second favorite game of all time, first being Super Metroid. But anyway, Ocarina of Time is a reboot and overhaul of the original story, and was the first game to completely fuck up the timeline. No bullshit, Nintendo had to come out and officially restructure the timeline because of this game. But the story was still good. We got origins of Hyrule, Princess Zelda, Link, and Ganon. And we got a new combat system, which is pretty much standard today in Zelda games. So let's skip Majora's Mask and fast forward to the game we have playing in the background, Wind Waker, my least favorite, until you get to this point in the game where you go back to Hyrule. And these type of callbacks became common in Zelda games. Now this is a good segue into Breath of the Wild. Now, looking at the game footage in the background, right off the rip, when you get into Hyrule Phil, the developers put some fan service in here. The first person you come across is an old man in a cave, sitting next to a fire. Now, this is not the first time you've seen this old man. He's in damn near every Zelda game, but it's a callback to the original, and I thought it was really cool. And you can see that here, the comparisons here. Now, the combat system is fundamentally the same as the other 3D games, with a few changes. Now we got a dedicated jump button, a dedicated run button, which do require the use of stamina. Previously, Link would automatically jump over ledges, and you would use the roll mechanic to move faster. Also, just like in Majora's Mask, the melee weapons, shields, and projectile weapons, they break from repeated use. Now there's no companion fairy in this game, but weapon lock-on is still present. Additionally, when using the bow and arrow in first person mode, you can either aim with the analog sticks or you can just use the motion controls by pointing the controller in the direction you want to shoot. Now I'm not sure if the sensitivity can be adjusted because I've never tried it, but if so, that would make this a very gangster combat mechanic. So next we have something new to the Zelda series. You no longer collect heart containers for life, you have to cook and craft food, or craft and cook food, I'm sorry. Now this is commonly done in other RPGs, but this is fairly new to the Zelda series. Now currently I have about 8 hours of gameplay, and I'm not too far into the story. The reason is, is side quests and all the other shit you can do. Like looking at the screen right now, I was heading to a checkpoint in the story, and I came across this skull, and I just had to go fuck with it. This game does a really good job of encouraging exploration, and I can dig it. Now, I'm not gonna comment too much on the performance and graphics, because we know this Switch can't hold a drop of water next to the Xbox and the PlayStation 4, but it did have some cool visuals, and I came across this in the game. It started raining, and watch, there's gonna be like a lightning bolt that just hits right in front of me, and I thought that was pretty cool. See that right there? So a lot of people have been giving this game a 10 out of 10 and really high scores. I'm gonna tell you right now, in my opinion, it's not a 10. I know I talked about a lot of what goes on in previous Zelda games and what's in this one, but right now it really doesn't feel like a Zelda game, and here's why. First off, Link is overpowered as fuck in the beginning of the game. For example, I got fire arrows within the first 30 minutes. That never happens. You usually gotta grind for that. And looking at the gameplay now, he gets 4 abilities like in the very beginning, and then the way he gets them is there's these mini temples where you have some really small and easy to figure out puzzles. So within the first hour, 2 hours of the game, you have all of your abilities, well, most of them, right? Typically in a Zelda game, you go through temples. In the temple, you have a special item or an upgrade that you need to advance the story. Looks like here, they're kind of shortchanging this, because from what I can see on the map, we've got 4 temples and then probably a Ganon temple. This is similar to Majora's Mask, but I think I'm starting to think that maybe this game is a little short, and I'm getting a little scared about that. And the reason being because these side missions, they just seem like a lot of fluff, and then the real game starts when you get to the main temples. With the way games have been nowadays, it wouldn't surprise me if this is the case. And another thing I find to be jacked up is that the difficulty settings are locked behind a paywall. You know, this was never done in a Zelda game, man. So why we gotta have that bullshit now, man? I mean, I understand that this is where games are going, but come on, not with Zelda, man. Not with Zelda. Now, my last issue in these first few hours of gameplay is the horse riding. This shit is trash. I mean, they got it right in Ocarina of Time. They got it right in Twilight Princess. They give a reason why it's a little rough at first, and I think that's cool. But man, it's terrible right now, and I hope it gets better. I mean, that'll be a game breaker for me if the horse riding is shit like that the whole game. So now I'm gonna wrap this shit up, y'all. These are my first impressions. I am having fun with the game. It just right now I mean, I've got hints of previous Zelda games. It really doesn't feel like a Zelda game yet, and I expect it to feel more like a Zelda game once I get to the temples. Zelda is known for having good music, and I mean, you can hear what I'm playing in the background. It's remixes, but this is all Zelda music. I haven't come across any cool music yet. This part in the gameplay, this is obviously the Temple of Time. If you've played a Zelda game, you knew this the first time you saw it. But they do give hints to the older songs, like the Fairy Fountain song and Zelda's Lullaby. And I like shit like that. But I'm definitely looking forward to some music once I get to the temples. Guys, this is my first ever commentary, man. This shit was rough. It's hard. Big ups to the guys who've been doing this shit, man. I don't know how y'all do it. Feel free to give me some feedback in the comment section. Like and sub, man. I'm gonna do more of this in the future. I'm gonna take a break and I'm gonna go back to my hardware videos. But like I said in the beginning, being that I am a Zelda fan, longtime Zelda fan, I had to get this first impressions out of the way. So yeah, man. Peace out, man. Beearseno. Don't forget to say the B. Beearseno on Twitter. Beearseno on Twitch. You know, that's where you can find me. Peace out, y'all.